so.
Don't be sorry.
Call the Public Works meeting to order. We will take item 24 first. Resolution 2022-0122. This was part of the public hearing tonight. Resolution to adopt a schedule of proposed assessments for improvement of South 91st from Arthur Place to West Harrison Avenue, West Vigo Terrace from South 99th to east of South 99th, West Hayes Avenue from Green Links Drive to East End, and West Orchard Street from South 93rd to South 95th by minor asphalt resurfacing.
Move to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and the matter carries. Item 25, Resolution 2022-0123, final resolution authorizing public improvement by minor asphalt resurfacing in South 91st from West Arthur Place to West Harrison.
Move to approve.
Thank you.
I figured you didn't want to read all that.
Wasn't quite sure if you want to read all of it.
I got all night.
If not, I'm all ready to approve.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item 26, Resolution 2022-0137, resolution to approve bid of Will Surge Electric Incorporated to furnish and install a new standby generator at the West Dallas Police Department located at 11301 West Lincoln Avenue in the amount of $476,686. Is there any?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
how often do they replace the generators?
These are 20 to 26 years old.
Okay.
There are two. So there's a little one that runs the 911 center, and then there was a bigger one for the rest of the building. So we're going to consolidate. The big one was too big. It was actually from the Iraq War. It was a military surplus. Got a good price for it, but it's really too big. So we're going to get a right-sized generator, one generator that will run the whole building if needed. And yeah, both generators, I guess, failed last summer. So they're I guess need something reliable. You know, they absolutely have to have power at all times. Police chief has been very clear about that. So yeah. 26 years, I guess, is about all we can expect.
That's the age of the building, correct?
Yeah. It was installed with the building. So.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Item 27, Resolution 2022-0194, resolution to enter into a limited-term conservation easement with the Milwaukee Metropolitan.
Move to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go for it.
I know what they are. What are they? I mean, what are you getting at here with this easement? What's the easement for?
So MMSD paid for the green infrastructure,
Right.
the bricks and the bioswale, and they want to make sure they get their money's worth. So they're forcing us to have this easement to maintain it, and if we don't, then the easement goes on to say that they could actually step in and protect their investment and maintain it and charge us. So it's really just MMSD protecting their investment, that we're going to take care of this for 10 years at least, and not ignore it or.
Other than plowing it, what are we maintaining?
Well, we have to vacuum the stuff up between the bricks, and we have the plants. A lot of times, the first year of a bioswale, a lot of the plants die, so we may have to replant some of the plants. So there's going to be some maintenance, yes.
Okay.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Is there compensation for this?
Well, they paid for the original installment. There's not compensation to maintain it, no.
Okay.
But they paid for almost the full cost of putting in the bricks. They didn't pay for everything, but they paid for the green infrastructure part of it. So they want that investment to be maintained for 10 years at least.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's what this is about.
Thank you.
Alderman Stefanski, you still have a question?
No, you asked my question.
Okay. Well, I got another one now. When we had that meeting at the farmer's market last summer, and there was discussion amongst people about getting a big vacuum cleaner that we could share with all of the other cities. Where did that go? Not the vacuum cleaner. Where did the discussions go?
Nothing has happened. I don't know if Public Works will ask, as we go into the 23 budget, but yeah, we didn't allocate the money for it. I mean, there are
But
discussions.
that's what you got to clean these up with. Is
Right.
a vacuum cleaner.
We have an attachment that works on our VACALs.
Okay.
It's a little, I guess, clumsy. They were proposing like a gator, I think, that had a vac on it or something.
Okay.
So, I mean, we're going to be doing more of this, and eventually, it'll increasingly become more efficient to have
Maybe we could buy one and rent it out to the other cities.
Well, and I was just going to say, MMSD, we've had discussions at our MMSD meetings about, all the communities are in the same boat, that you don't need the VACAL, the whole year, and if you could share it, if MMSD could buy it and we could all lease it or rent it or something. So there have been discussions that haven't gotten too far yet, but that would be a good idea, yeah.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded, I believe. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Item 28,
Motion approved.
Second.
it's been moved and seconded. Any new discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oppose? Motion carries. And then we jump down to item 29, Resolution 2022-0222, resolution relative to accepting proposals of Crescent Electric, and that's either GEX or GEX or GEX Pro, I don't know, supply, and Near Electric for furnishing and delivering fuses, fuse holders, connectors, wire, cable, and luminaries for a total sum of $124,085.83.
Move to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and approved. Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All.
Mr. Chair, are these for the new
Yeah, right.
fixtures?
So
You might say.
we buy all the materials, just especially in the current environment where supply chain issues. So we'll have all the lights. We give them to the contractor, and so half the circuits are being done internally by Public Works, and another couple circuits are being done by a contractor. But we buy all the equipment and provide it so that we have it, because we're hearing horrendous stories about wouldn't be able to get stuff till August. So we're ordering the stuff now, so we'll have the materials for the contractor to use. For the most part, they're reusing the poles. They're just putting a new luminaire on it, but we buy the materials so that we'll have it.
So they're installing it.
We're going to have half of this stuff is supplied by Public Works and half installed by a contractor.
Thank you.
And when we buy it, then there's no sales tax.
Well, there isn't. They changed the law so that even if a contractor buys it,
Right. What about if a municipality?
what?
If a municipality buys it, doesn't the sales tax go away?
Right, but if a contractor buys it while they're working for a municipality, they don't have to pay sales tax anymore either.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
so that
Okay.
there's not that incentive necessarily anymore.
Okay. Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
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 Motion
Opposed?
adjourned.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. The meeting of License and Health Committee will come to order. All members present with the exception of Alderman Vitale, who is excused. Item 34, 2022-0352, new Class A beer and liquor license for Vadeshvar Incorporated, doing business as West Allis Food and Spirits, 9127 West Lincoln Avenue. Agent Yes Pravan Patel.
Present.
Please come up. You can have a seat.
Sit down, please.
I don't know how it really went.
That's okay.
It took us a while, too.
Yeah, absolutely. So please tell us, I believe you and I had a conversation.
Yes, we did have a conversation.
But if you can give an
a few days ago.
overview to the committee as to what your business is going to be about and what you would like to do with it.
So 92nd and Lincoln, it's on two of the busiest crossroads in all of the city of West Dallas. So that location itself has been vacant for, I don't know, about 10 years now. And it's a very prime location, and it kind of looks like an eyesore right now. If you're coming off the freeway going down to the hospital, someone looks at it like, doesn't look very curb appeal, I would say. So my proposal is I want to put a grocery store and liquor store in there. But with the current environment, with COVID and everything, I would want beer, liquor, cigarettes, and grocery in there. So it just gives me the most chance to survive, just, with everything going on. But with that being said, I am not going to turn it into a full liquor store. All the liquor will be present behind the counter, and it will be all standard sizes, which means there will be some 50s and up, so nothing like 50 ml shooters, half pints, and stuff like that. They will all be big bottles, which people usually take home and drink with their family or at get-togethers. And all the wine will also be behind the counter.
Okay. Does anyone have any
Madam Chair,
questions?
Dan Road, I spoke with
we
you
spoke as well.
whenever, 2 weeks ago.
Yes, sir.
and I'm not in favor of this, as I kind of told
Yes,
you.
we
I
spoke
wasn't pulling any punches there.
No,
and
100%.
It's and I'm trying to be
Like the brutal honesty.
I'm trying to be as consistent as I can because I voted against the one on 92nd in Cleveland. Neighbors are telling me that they're had enough liquor stores. We're getting to every half mile there now. We're having a liquor
Yes.
store. We got 92nd. You don't need me to do it.
No,
It
100%.
goes
And-
all the way down.
Yes.
And then it goes towards McCarty Park. There's a liquor store every half mile. So I can't support this. You're probably the nicest, best manager on earth, but it's the whole liquor thing.
No, 100%. As we spoke, I'm not looking to turn into a full liquor store,
Right.
even in my current locations. I don't believe in keeping that much inventory, and especially with the high school being so close, and especially them going to the transition to maybe combining both the high schools, I wouldn't want to put any of the students or any of the parents uneasy with the idea of
Right.
a full liquor store being right down the road. So, I understand your opinion, and I take that into consideration. So let's see what happens.
Right.
Mr. Patel, I have a question, and this was based on our conversation, too. So Alderman wrote, thank you for bringing that up, because I have concerns, too,
Yes.
with a full-on liquor store, and I shared that with you.
Yes, ma'am.
And I was more interested in the part that, and I understand the liquor is a big part of the revenue. However, I wanted just to hear your viewpoint on this and share with the council, if indeed a Class A would not be issued, would you be okay with a beer license only with minimal coolers and be more focused on a food grocery /
Yes. As we spoke, I do not mind starting with a Class A beer license with a Class C wine license, maybe,
Correct.
because wine is not a very high-based alcohol product.
Right.
So I will be more than open to starting with that. And, if the council, maybe in a year or 2 years, I apply again, and if you guys feel like I'm doing a good job, if the neighbors have their concerns eased, and I'd be more than open to reapplying that day and hopefully get a fair shot at once again at that given time to apply for a Class A full liquor license.
Okay, I have 2 more questions. Are you planning on purchasing the building or leasing it?
Well, right now it's a lease. The current owner does not want to sell, but eventually when he does want to sell, and if this does go through, I will be the first right of refusal on the building.
Okay. Is there a term on that lease?
Right now is a 10-year lease with a what's called chance to keep going until 30 years. Then if he does decide to sell, then until I pass away.
Okay. That was very final. But what do you plan on doing? Are there any plans as far as the aesthetics of the property?
So the backspace, when you're driving from going north on 92nd, the backspace is huge and off the side of the building because it's a brick building. I did want to do something that represents West Dallas's rich history, so maybe like a nice mural or something where it looks very nice, because especially when you come off of Lincoln, off the highway, if you see a nice mural, people are very inclined to say, wow, this is very nice. Then in front of the building, there's like some flower plats and stuff like that. I want to plant flowers, roses, lilies and stuff like that during the summer. So it looks like a very nice building, and that's how I want to keep it. I don't want to keep it where it's just nothing but signs that say liquor and stuff like that. No, I want to keep a very nice, high, class and establishment.
How many years have you been in business with other locations?
So I started working for my parents when I was 13, 14 years old. I'm currently 23 years old. I own my own business for the last 18, so like 5 years about now. So in the liquor store industry itself, I've been in it for 3.5 years.
Okay. And how many locations do you own?
2.
2 locations.
Both of them in Racine, Wisconsin.
Okay. All right, that finishes up my questions. Are there-
One more thing, Madam
Go
Chair.
ahead.
What wall are you painting?
So if you're coming off of, it's kind of hard to describe, but if you're coming off of Lincoln from the freeway, if you stop at the red light, you can see the brick wall that goes parallel with 92nd.
So it's the west wall.
Yes, west.
Okay,
Yes,
thank you.
it's because it's a nice big piece that, if painted very nicely, it could be a nice, attractive piece.
Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I just wanted to provide clarification on the Class C wine licenses. Those are only to be issued for restaurants if the sale of alcohol beverages accounts for less than 50% of the gross profit, so they're not for
Okay.
stores.
My
Okay, so
apologies.
you would
Then
not
just a
qualify
Class
for
A
that.
beer license.
Okay.
Is there a Class A beer and wine license that?
That's
Nope.
the full liquor.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, then Class A beer license I'll be fine with too.
Okay. Now, as it's requested right now, it's Class A beer and liquor. Are there any more, is there more discussion on this?
Madam Chair, do you have any other locations in West Dallas other than this one?
No, ma'am. I'm actually partnered with my brother right here. He owns the Subway on 67th and Greenfield. He just 67th and Greenfield
Oh,
in the little
67?
yes, in that little Hobby Lobby mall.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So he recently opened it up last year. So we want to make West Dallas. We're not looking to go anywhere for a long time. So we just want to keep bringing more businesses in.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, no liquor license, no liquor stores in West Dallas. No, ma'am.
I see. Okay. I did go and view the building myself to see. You have a number of coolers.
Yes.
Number of coolers. So how do you plan on filling them with, there's
So-
at least 20 coolers.
Yes.
If not more.
So it's actually a 13-door cooler, which 5
Right, I
are
saw it.
a freezer. So the freezer is going to be frozen pizzas, ice cream, French fries and stuff like that. But the rest of the doors, which is 8, 3 doors are going to be for beer, and 5 doors are going to be for soda, milk, and dairy products. I am going to be looking to bring in standing coolers just for more sodas, juices, and stuff like that, cold coffee, beverages.
Because you'll have a whole length of the room
Yes.
with coolers.
Yes, ma'am.
Right, but you plan on filling basically only 3 with the beer?
Yes, ma'am.
I see.
Just keeping the
And
top
what kind of food do you plan on having in this store?
chips, groceries, canned food, then household products. Yeah.
It's a very large room,
Yes.
very, very large room.
So I'm looking to keep a full line of grocery products. So you could come and get maybe a box of pasta if you ran out. Just come by and grab it real quick, or some, macaroni and cheese, or some, you just got off work at 6 o'clock and you just want
I
to
like
grab
the
some
aspect of
ramen
the
noodles.
food. Yeah, because we don't have a food store.
Exactly. And, it's kind of a food desert, especially the other thing is, I do want to bring in slushies and stuff like that, because I know the high school's right there. So
Right.
kids in the morning, they want to grab something energetic and wake them up. So like cold coffee, like the Starbucks coffee, or some hot coffee or cappuccinos and stuff like that. I want to bring that in so the kids have somewhere to stop before they go to school, and they could grab some snacks throughout the day.
That was a concern of mine as well, with the school being in close proximity. We do have a distance requirement as far as I am aware of.
Yeah, it meets the requirement. I think.
Yeah, I think
If
it's.
you meet that distance requirement, Kale isn't here right now.
They do meet it.
They do make it, because there is a distance, I
Yes,
know,
the-
between the hospital and
Yep, the 1,000.
300
Pardon me?
feet for that.
Pardon me?
It's 300 feet for
Yes.
alcohol. It's
Right.
1,000 for the,
Cigarettes.
yes.
Right.
Thank you.
Yes, I had spoken to Nick about it. So those are the questions that I have so far.
Okay,
I do approve of just beer.
okay. Is it requested as beer and liquor?
No, it's
As-
full-blown.
It's full-blown. So if it were to be approved and there's a motion for approval, it would need to be agreeable on your end as to if it would be beer only.
That's fine. I can, if you want me to resubmit the application, I can resubmit it, or I could file an affidavit with a lawyer, and we can just have it written down in paper and notarized.
Okay, if
with
I
the
may
city.
ask, Rebecca, what would the process be?
I think you can just say that you're
We can
going to
amend it
withdraw
here.
Oh, okay.
the liquor here and that.
Apply
and
for
that-
a Class
just-
A.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, if it's approved, then I can just withdraw it right now and just say it again for
So-
a Class A beer license.
So now it's beer only. And your business plan or your map, didn't see one. Just 3 coolers of beer?
Yes, sir.
Even now that we're going,
Yes, it was going to be the same. The biggest focus was always for the grocery aspect of it,
Right.
more than the alcohol aspect of it.
and then
Okay.
your hours, I don't have your business plan here in front of me. Your hours,
Okay.
8 to 9, sir.
8 to 9.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Have you made a diagram? of the
I did submit
facility?
it. I submitted all my applications online, and I did submit it with that as well.
Because we didn't have that view.
I submitted it online because it was part of one of the check marks to fully submit the
In the
application.
packet, right, Rebecca?
Rebecca, do we have it?
I don't have a copy of it printed out, but we have a copy of it online.
Oh, I'd like to see it.
Yes?
So I believe this is the one that Gina put on hold because I understand, I'm Bob with the health department. Are you meeting with the health department tomorrow?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that's the pending license or the approval that still has to happen before it's officially completed.
Okay.
I don't
And
know if that prompts Gina.
So
to
you
packet.
you can
we can hold,
you can either hold it or you can make a recommendation to grant it, and then it just gets held at the council.
Okay.
Like we were doing.
that's
with
what
the
I
other
meant,
ones.
held at
Yeah.
council level. So with that being said, is there any more discussion before a motion would be called on?
What are we holding?
Meaning that if it is approved based on it being
holding it
just a
subject to the
beer, that
necessary
it would hold
improvements.
until the necessary permits
Okay.
are granted. And that would be the motion based on you withdrawing
The Class A
and
full liquor license and
requesting
Class
the
A
beer only,
No problem.
limited to 3 beer coolers. Do I have a motion on the floor?
Motion of what you just said.
Approve as a,
Approve as amended
amended, yes.
and held to council floor. Is there a second?
A second. But can we view the establishment of the plan?
I can try to pull it up on my phone right now, but I can send it to you later if you want. I mean, I don't have a copy of it that's not online at this point. We need to make sure that we print out, when we give you the packets, we have
My
that
IT
in
guy here
there.
working on it.
I don't see it in the packet. That's why I was breezing
Do
through
you
it.
have it?
I got the 734-page packet. And I don't
I have
see
a
it here.
picture on my phone if you want
All
to
I
view
saw
it.
was the room.
Would you mind bringing that up?
Yeah, no problem.
Please, thank you.
Just give me 1 second to find it real quick now.
It'd be like me, I'd be like
That's
this.
the time we look at the diagram and there's no bathrooms and,
No, we have a ADA approved bathroom as well, and a ADA. Let me just keep moving around, and a ADA approved counter as well for handicaps.
I'd appreciate that.
No problem, ma'am.
Do I have to request a vote on that? There's a motion, or it's just going to council floor?
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we want to bring this up a little bit. Can you see on that angle? So here, and if you want to view it like this, let's see if we can turn it
I
this
think
way.
it's gonna keep
Okay,
rotating.
gonna keep rotating.
Yeah, it's just one of those
So,
weird
here
pictures.
we go. I'm gonna just give you that. So the counter's here, display counter, ADA counter. Then we go back here, and that's the bathroom, also ADA. Here's a hallway.
Okay.
Then you have the hand washing counter. Is that gondola shelving?
Yes, that's just a term we use in convenience store lingo
Okay.
for shelving.
So here's the counter. Oh, oops. Yeah, fingers go quick. Counter, bathroom. Here's the shelving in the central area of the store. And then you look over here, and that would be the 3-door freezer and the 9-door cooler, 3 of which are going to be beer, the rest will be food and frozen items.
Okay,
Okay? Does anybody else want to see this?
No,
I'm good.
All right.
all right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
All right, we have
we don't have to amend anything, right? It's the 3 coolers.
yes,
3
it's
coolers.
already,
Okay.
it will be
Oh,
amended
okay,
as such.
thank you.
So I have a motion for approval and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
I was going to be in, yeah.
Oh, I'm
Opposed?
sorry, opposed?
No.
Oh,
Thank you. So 3 in favor, 1 opposed. I'm sorry, Alderman Roat.
That's okay.
I don't get to, play with that gavel too often.
Practice makes perfect.
Yes,
It's right here if
absolutely.
you need
So, thank you. So, moving on to item 35, 2022-0372, 2021-2023 new operators license bartender Class D operator application for Maxwell Anderson. Is Maxwell Anderson here? Any information, any call?
No, this is the first non-appearance.
First non-appearance. Do we have a motion on the floor?
We'll just hold it right for the, don't we do 2?
We can do that, yes.
And on next cheat sheet, he said he's got 1 pending OWI.
Yeah,
Okay.
the second one.
So
Right.
either we can hold.
Yeah, let's hold it for the second
Okay.
appearance, if you
So
don't
there's a
mind.
motion to hold. Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item 36, 2022-0383, 2021-23 new operators licensed bartender Class D operator application for Alyssa Karlick. Is Alyssa here? Okay.
Also, the first non-appearance. I'm sorry.
Non-appearance. Is there a motion?
Motion to hold.
Motion to hold.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Item 37, Class B Tavern Seasonal Temporary Premise Extension Request for Polly's Pub, 8031 West Greenfield Avenue from May 1st, 2022 through September 30th, 2022. That's item 2022-0382.
Motion to approve.
Mr. Budiak, is there,
I
I was motioning so we get to discussion.
we're going to have discussion either way, but there is a motion now, so there's a motion. Mr. Budiak, thank you for coming. Can you let us know what you're planning on doing? We looked at the plan. I looked at the plan. And if you want to just give an overview.
Yeah, when we did the application, they said 2 full months, so they said due May through September. So
thank you.
I don't have it on me.
Okay.
I remember what we did Sundays or on holidays and or Friday or Saturday. We'd rather do Saturdays if that, I mean, it was a lot of work last year to do those 2 days. So we have a lot of Sundays booked and some Saturdays booked. If you look at the highlighted portions, Summerfest, because we run shuttles, it doesn't pay, and it would be more dangerous for people to come through the parking lot and
Okay.
things like that.
So all the highlighted ones are going to be
No outdoor
no
bands.
outdoor bands.
Right. I know last year there was questions on parking, so we talked to State Fair. I've got a meeting with her next Tuesday.
Okay.
For overflow across the street. We've inquired on the property on 80th Street that has Napa. He does not want to sell that at
Okay.
this time. And then there was additional parking on the north side of Greenfield that was implemented last year to try to alleviate some of those things. So we are in the process of working on those things too. So these are what we have. The last day is September 18th would be the Sunday before Harvest Fest.
Okay.
And then the first day would be the Friday or Saturday of Memorial Day.
Okay.
But Eric Church is at Miller Park, and we expect to run 200 shuttles. So I talked to my booker today and said, don't even do anything out in the parking lot because we're going to need those. So there are a bunch of events that
Okay.
things on Saturdays will shift.
All right.
To not have them, so.
And then just so it's clear, it's not like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's a Friday or a Saturday. We're hoping it would be a Saturday. Sometimes it was a
Yeah, a couple
band
bands called
conflict.
last year and said, we got this canceled. We've got to make money for 3 days. Can you do us on a Friday? It was Bobby Frisk.
Okay.
That he did that. And I said, whatever you need to do, because we've had a relationship with him for a long time. So, and it seemed to work out.
So the highlighted one, sir, is where you have no outdoor band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's when you use the shuttles.
Yes, on some of them, like Air Church is the 28th. Motley Crue is like July 17th. So those are dates that it would not be safe for our customers to do the parking lot. Plus, it would be overflow parking with it's like opening day. It's kind of like a mess.
I
So what
understand.
we try to
Right.
do is keep it as clean
But
as
the rest
possible.
of them, you will have a band?
Some of them are either Friday or Saturday,
Right.
and then the Sundays, yes.
Have you eliminated the Monday then? other
Mondays
than
are done,
May
and
30th?
Mondays are done, and Tuesdays. The only 3 Mondays are Memorial Day, Labor Day, and 4th of July, possibly. So,
And that's when you would have four events.
No.
No.
No, I mean for the week.
it would be 3 at the most.
3 at the most.
3 at the most. Yep, those 3 weeks with the holiday. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Because I didn't want it every Monday.
Right.
it's
We did a last year was weird. We had a guy that had worked in the industry for years, and he was starting a new barbecue business because their whole people got let go. So we basically did it to help support him in his start
I see.
because
Okay.
it was a lot of work on that
But now
Monday
you-
after Sunday. Yeah.
You've reduced it to
Yeah,
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, it sounds like.
Friday or Saturday, unless
Not
it's
both.
those holiday weekends. So it's only 2 days at the most. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So 2 days at the most over a weekend period, every weekend of the summer, with the exception of the highlighted, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm counting this up. It looks like 36 events is 36 dates is what I'm counting up.
30 events is what we had on here. So
Okay. Maybe I miscalculated, but I'm counting over here into September 2, which says max of 7. One of the concerns that was brought to my attention was obviously the zoning ordinance changes. Steve Scher obviously went over that, and this being would this be this final year that you are planning on doing this with these changes?
that's one of the things we had talked about. We had a meeting prior to kind of go over one of the things that the city is starting to lose tax revenue for certain things. So I was approached to not tear down our duplex because it's a form of tax revenue. So we don't want to do that. That's the case in this format where it'll have to be, and then we'll see what happens next year. I have no idea what's going on next year. We did this to make sure that we can pre-plan, set up everything to the best of our abilities to make the least amount of impact on the community, and still service the community. So, I know some people had asked about our commitment. We've been here 20 years. We just bought 2 lots to build duplexes in the city of West Dallas. So that's kind of where we stand right now. So I'd rather not tear down the house, trust me.
Right.
I mean, I still owe on it, so I don't want to do anything like that. But you don't know what the environment's going to be next year. We don't know what the environment is week to week anymore on what's
Right.
going on. So it's just tough.
Well, my concern, as it was last year, and I'll just reiterate that, was the amount of complaints that came in and the petition that came through. And we can't turn a deaf ear to it. I can't personally. It's not my district to represent, but you're here in front of License and Health, and I have to do my due diligence to the constituents that have complained. I know that you have attempted to work with them, but I feel personally that this is too much, too many events. That doesn't mean that others on the council will not feel that way or share my sentiment, but I'm going to hold true to what I stated based on really that outreach last year. And we ended the season with saying that when you came and asked for those additional special use days into October, and we granted them. I think it was September.
Yep.
Yeah. So
2 days.
with all due respect, that's really my stance. I'm gonna stay with that. I did have a suggestion and recommendation. If indeed there are any other concerns with the committee, that you cut those days. I don't know how, well, obviously it would be impactful to your business, but I'd be more concerned with the amount of days and coming up with, or maybe half of those events.
And can I make a comment right now?
Absolutely.
I just was
Absolutely.
going to say, too, as far as that goes, the neighborhood has the public hearing to come to. No one did show up and say anything. So I just would like that on the record.
Yeah. And I noticed that too. And I mean, it's just one of those things that too, it's like out of sight, out of mind, then all of a sudden when it's happening, then the complaints come in. And it's kind of like a day late, dollar short. You're scrambling to make nice with everybody else when you're doing all you could to make it right to begin with.
The one was started because of parking, and that was the home show had taken up all the streets, and he had his apartment complex has 8 parking spots.
Yeah.
And he was number 9, so he couldn't park. So that's
Okay.
why he got angry at me. And it was the home show, so it was like, the countertop people and everything were taking up the street.
Yeah. But it sounds like you resolved that with having that auxiliary parking over by State Fair.
Right, and he's the one that started the other thing. So
Okay.
We have like 4 or 5 people that consistently come in from those buildings. So we try. If you talk to the health department, our decibel levels are at 100. We were at 65. We were at 70. I mean, that's like me and you talking in certain points. So we
Right.
really, my guys on there are professionals, and I'm like, you have to do this, otherwise you're not going to work.
Okay.
And they needed to work as much as possible, and a lot of them still do to make up what they're losing. So.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you answering all my questions. Does anybody else have any questions? Go ahead.
I heard half of the 2nd district at the Plan Commission, and you didn't have a problem with this, correct? And then the other
I had
half?
no problem with it.
Okay. And every time I drove by there, when you were having events last year, it was always quiet,
We're out in the morning. We get there back at 6 in the morning.
I know.
I've
seen you.
Yeah, our goal is a half hour after the event. Everything's cleaned up. Everything's taken care of. We had a big event, and all of our customers helped clean the tables, move the tables, take all the garbages. It's a real strong community that we have, and we're happy to have them. So.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so there is a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Oh, there was this.
There wasn't
There was a
second,
motion.
second.
Oh, second.
Okay, any further discussion?
I have a problem with every weekend you are having your festive activities. Is it lucrative for you to have it every weekend versus maybe 2 weekends a month?
The costs that are incurred with the rental of equipment and different things like that, it becomes cost prohibitive to a certain point in time. We had one of the tents that was previously there last year. We took that down to address the changes in parking abilities. So that's 6 or 7 more things. For cohesiveness, for everything, to do it on a scheduled pattern, it is more cost effective. So,
I
to answer
see.
your question.
Your parking is very limited by your bar.
We have 3 different parking lots.
You have
So-
an additional parking
Yes,
lot.
we have 33 in the first lot, we have 26 in the second lot, and 19 in our third lot. So compared to a lot of other locations in West Allis, we have way more. Plus, we have parking on North Greenfield now, and like I said, we're working with State Fair. There's that lot across the street to see if we can rent that to work with the community more. And we had inquired on the property on 80th with where Greenfield or where Napa is. because he can't park there anymore for State Fair. So I thought maybe he would want to take some steps to get rid of that, and he doesn't want to do that right now. So.
And just to like, if you look how it's broken down, like June, max of 7 events. July, max of 9 events. August has a max of 4 events. September, a max of 7. You know, so it's.
Remember, these highlighted ones.
It's
are
not every
these are-
weekend
these
then
are
in
indoor.
August, like you're saying.
Right.
Yeah, well,
So,
we have State Fair.
Right.
And there's different things, you know, that's 2 weekends of August that nothing is going on, thank God, because we couldn't handle it. That 11 days is very taxing.
That's a lot.
All right, thank you. You have a very lucrative business.
It's a lot of work, 30 years. Been
Yes.
doing it 30 years.
Yes.
And it always hasn't been lucrative. I'm telling you God's honest truth, man. You run a business, you know. So
Polly, is field trips open? Is your field trip open?
Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, that's it. Yeah.
All right.
So, and that was one of the things that we did, because if somebody else owned Field Trip, they might be able to do music. And when we first started this, it said, you know what, we'll take that out of the equation and concentrate on Paulie's, because the sound levels going towards State Fair, if everything gets approved, it was more beneficial to everything, so.
Okay.
Alderman Grisham, I just have a
Yes,
question.
go ahead.
The events for Mondays, when were they ending? Mondays?
7.
7?
Yeah.
Anything else?
And that might not even happen on the 4th. That's my birthday, and I haven't had off in 22 years, so.
All right, so there's a motion, there's a second. All in favor?
I,
Opposed? No. And so we have 3 in favor, 1 opposed.
Yep.
Thank you both.
all right, thank you. Thank you.
All right, item 38, 2022-0400, communication regarding the Enforcement and Nuisance Control 2022 Budget Initiative. And we have our Health Commissioner, Bob Leishow, here. How are you?
Living the dream.
Yeah, well, thanks for joining us.
So, not sure how you want to roll this out.
I could just start for a minute, and then
Sure.
you can take over since you're overseeing most of this. As you're all aware, one of the initiatives that the council approved in the mayor's budget had to do with nuisance abatement and things like that, and there were 5 different components of that. The garbage cart standardization, you're familiar with that because you are also on the Public Works Committee, so you know how we're going on with that. As of February 28th, 53% of the people still need to purchase a new cart.
Okay.
Since we're a few days from that, hopefully more people have. That was the first component of that. The second is code enforcement efforts consolidated and reorganized. We're going to be moving forward on hiring the director in the building inspection, but we want to kind of refocus that department to be more of a code enforcement. It is now, but
Right.
just change the name and have that be managing our nuisance abatement and code enforcement. And then also training all of our city staff that do inspections, not just the health department and building inspection, but we have the fire department and other departments that go out to properties so that they will be able to understand what might be a rat infestation or something that could lead to that, and then report that so we can follow up on that. I think, so those are those 2. I think the last 3 you're probably more involved in. So if you want to get into that.
Yeah, so on page 9, I believe it corresponds with the booklet you have. It'd be the third objective, really, resident engagement and partnership. And so just generally recognizing that in order for this to be successful, we're going to really have to hammer hard away at just informing and educating the resident population. And so there are proposed different activities to do that in partnership with us in communications and others to really just kind of reinforce our education strategies to be more proactive, but also invite people to different types of community forums where they can actually learn more about some of the proper abatement measures.
We really need to focus on having the residents help on this initiative because we, as employees in the city, we need their partnership because
I would agree because my concerns have been over the years. It's very surprising to me how many people aren't aware of the basic fundamental rat control measures, such as picking up dog feces. That's common thing to know, and they don't know it. So it makes me wonder, what are we doing on our end to make sure this information gets out? Because yes, it's great when we have a neighborhood cleanup, but that's such a minimal percentage of community that we're reaching. And I really do encourage, one of the other things is, you have one property on the block that is noted, calling in and saying they have a problem. And I think you already do this, Bob, is you reach out to that entire block, correct? So everybody's informed. Yeah, so I'm liking what I'm seeing so far.
Yep. Yeah, and I think, too, it ties in nicely with, again, one of, I think, the mayor's initiatives or the city initiative to be more robust with just the neighborhood associations and get folks more involved at that level. And then on page 11, we address nuisance animal abatement, which really is largely much of what the city is already doing. So as you can see under actions taken, that list is pretty exhaustive to this point in terms of what health department is doing, what BINS is doing, what DPW is already doing with regard to this issue. And as we turn the page to 13, one thing that we as a work group have been working on is... Okay. Sorry.
I was like, 13's blank. Do we have the invisible pen?
Page 10. Now we're on page 11. We were on page 10.
Thank you.
Go to the proper book. Okay.
We're all over here.
So under the nuisance abatement, the list of planned activities or actions in progress and planned actions is pretty exhaustive, but to include really just looking at again, more use of data to actually identify what we're calling hotspots to this point. So this is a work in progress. Just again, referring to your handy dandy booklet here. If you look at the map, the data points to this point have largely begun to help us recognize where we've got areas where over the past few years we're beginning to see some predominant activity. So in the context of potentially recruiting or bidding out for a pest control company, we're going to essentially share this with them and talk with them about how they can target specific neighborhoods. And so the importance of data, certainly can't be underscored because it's going to help us now, but then also as we look 2, 3, 5 years down, we're going to be able to see, improvements, hopefully with regard to the number of complaints that we're not getting anymore.
Okay.
And we've been meeting weekly with all of the city departments and just talking over the actions. We're going to start having subcommittees so we can really focus on different things moving forward.
Okay.
And then on page 12, we address, I think it's objective number 5 with regard to the city plan, our ordinance changes. And so myself and Rebecca and Kale, as well as Nick, have had a couple conversations with regard to reviewing current ordinance and looking at opportunities where we can shore up some of the language to allow not just health department but other departments who are in inspection mode, number one, identify issues, but almost on the spot is what we're talking about, issue an order, letting that resident know that we were here for a particular reason and we identified harborage areas, and then on the spot issuing potentially an order that we would leave behind or issue directly. And so it's not necessarily a citation immediately, but it's just elevating the importance of what we're recognizing.
Now, I have a question. With an order, what would be the subsequent process, and what happens if there is noncompliance?
So there's going to have to be a stepwise checks and balances. So any order that gets issued is going to ideally go into OpenGov is what we're kind of conceptualizing at this point. And it will allow those of us who are in the field to essentially monitor or just know that an order has been submitted, and then there will be prompts in the system for us to do that follow-up.
Okay.
So that's the concept, at least at this point, but it's still being built.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
And eventually, if they don't take care of it, it could get to some type of a nuisance enforcement, and that's the part we want to work out.
Well, and that was one of my thoughts. I'm sure you'll work that out, but would it be like a non-maintenance to your sidewalk, and then the city comes in, and then all of a sudden you're billed for it? I don't know to what degree and what overreach that would be, or what resource that would take. That would be a lot. But I want to make sure that the residents at least know that when they get an order, you mean business, you need action in order for this to really be effective.
Our expectation is that in the next year or so, as we're focusing on this more, the complaints are going to rise, and then in a few years, then we'll be able to level them out. We're not going to be able to completely eradicate rats in the urban environment. No. They've been around for hundreds
forever.
of years.
Yeah.
And then the remainder of the booklet is essentially just a reference material of activities and documentation that the city has largely already been implementing. Mm-hmm. So those are for reference at this point. Page 18 is just the listing of the work group members, so you can see it's a pretty robust and well-represented group of folks. 19 represents essentially the current health department code response process. So we're looking to that as really, again, I think an opportunity to build in some of the processes that other departments are now actively engaging with regard to this. So ideally it will be reflective of really anybody in every department that is involved in this process.
Well, it's looking like we're tackling it on all levels, and that's great. My biggest issue is obviously having our community on board to it, because we can't do it without them.
True.
So, all right. Well, I thank you very much. Is there any discussion?
Madam Chair,
Yeah.
I couldn't quite hear you. Does it pretty much go notice, order, summons, and complaint? Or don't, because that's what BINS has.
Right.
I think we're trying to skip the notice.
The notice. Yeah, we're talking about just going right to an order.
Right, but you were saying you did some sort of interaction with the homeowner, like send a nastygram out or something like that?
That's the current process. So when we go,
so that's pretty much your notice.
That's right now, yeah, and that's the information that is shared with that resident. You know, that we have responded to a complaint. There's been an inspection, and there have been harborage or rats identified. So that's essentially the notification. We're talking about essentially just moving away from even that first step and going to an order. So saying, that these infractions have been identified and you have X number of days to actually clean up your act.
That's a great idea.
I think.
Could you kind of keep us in the loop too when you send that out, to send the alderman out as well?
Yeah.
Thank you.
This is a work in progress.
Okay.
And yeah, absolutely. I think it's on the docket just to, of course, keep you guys informed of the ongoing development of this in general, and then certainly, once we do get to that point of issuing orders, absolutely.
Thank you.
Let the alders know.
Well, thank you very much. I have a question. Are we having our field inspectors doing anything on our videos to identify? Did you guys think of that in the communication aspect of it? That there would be, okay, this is what this looks like on a property and what to look for. Because I think that might be another additional outreach that would really be purposeful.
Yeah.
And I think from what I've heard from residents that have reached out to me, they are really very impressed with our field inspectors on this. So, good team from what I have heard. And I'd like to learn about that too. So I thought a video, anytime we can hit that, social media or otherwise, and have that visual, I think it's very effective too.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm pleased that we're promoting this abatement program. I think it's a timely thing right now, because looking at the map, it looks like eventually the rat population is reaching my district.
There's no strategy.
I'd rather nip it in the bud where it is.
Let's draw the lines, Rosie.
Yes,
They're already
I think
in
we
my
only
area.
have one red dot.
Rats on the other
Anyway,
side of the fruit.
Right by your house too.
Yeah. Well, I would like to announce they're in my
But I
neighborhood
think
as well.
it's lucrative that we get proactive with our population. It's time. People aren't used to having these rodents in their yard.
Yeah.
I had indicated to Bob that it is something that I basically grew up with, because we had, at that time, we just had these ash boxes, and that was a long time ago. And the DPW would come through, push over the ash boxes, and the rats would scurry out. Well, we never got rid of that rat population. I mean, they burrowed into the streets and the sewers, and therefore, we never really took care of them. They've been here longer than what we have.
Maybe we should bring the ash boxes.
Yes, with the ash boxes, yes.
They can be in there.
But anyway, that dates me. That dates me. But I'm glad that we're getting our people involved, because
jokes
we
there.
need the people involved to solve the problem. And I have to commend you on this book. I think it's very complete. You did a wonderful job, whoever put it together, and I applaud you. Inspections,
Yeah, there's a whole
Gave the nod to you, Rebecca.
inspections, enforcement, the pest control businesses were mentioned. Apparently, if there's too many problems, we'll call on a business, it sounds like.
We're not there yet,
Pest control businesses, if it
Yeah.
gets,
but certainly I think in the
too hard to
context-
manage.
Yeah, in the context of people having ownership of taking ownership for, potentially having rats or rodents,
Right.
on their property, there is some culpability to that, and
Okay.
really, it's definitely a strategy that we need to, keep in mind.
Well, enforcement probably will be a little more difficult, I would say. But if the people are given the information, and I assume that we're going to be promoting this through the media and various avenues. So with this knowledge, they'll be able to do a lot themselves if they're motivated enough. But as I indicated to you, I commend you. It's a start, but we need to start someplace.
Absolutely. Is there any more discussion? Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn? Thank you very much, Ben.
Move to adjourn.
So we have to,
I'm sorry.
39.
We have 39? Where are we going here? Suzette, settle down.
Move to place on file.
Okay, all right.
Thank you, Bob.
He said move to place on file, I said second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Motion to
opposed?
adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we are adjourned.
Okay,
Thank you all for putting up with
Okay.
me.
Anybody
Advisory
want this
come to order.
hammer?
No, I was thinking it would have been nice, but
I had a hammer all my,
we're all good.
Okay, advisory come to order.
fell there.
Let the minutes
Jeez.
reflect that all members are present with the exception of Alderman Vitale, who is excused. Number 40 on the agenda is appointment of Scott Bigger to the Tourism Commission for 1 year.
Motion to approve.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion. I think we've all received information about Scott, so I think we can be very pleased that he will be coming aboard the Tourism Commission. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Number 41, the appointment of Petra Thurich to the Historical Commission.
Motion to approve, Madam Chair.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion. Again, we've received information about Petra. Very knowledgeable, it sounds like. She will be a good fit. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. And then we have number 42, appointment of Jessica Yanni to the Farmers Market Committee.
Move to approve.
Second.
This has been moved and seconded. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Reappointment of Henry Keisel to the Farmers Market Committee.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Then we have the reappointment of Pat Wickenhauser, David Rymaszewski, and Margie Madek to the Commission on Aging.
Move to approve.
Second.
All good people. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Reappointments, number 45 of Linda Taylor to the Public Beautification Committee.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Lastly, we have number 46, reappointment of Alex Geiger to the Downtown West
Motion
Dallas
to approve.
Business
Second.
Improvement District. It's been moved and seconded. Discussion? All those in favor of Alex?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Motion
Move to adjourn.
It's been moved and
Second.
seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you.